here. Get us both out of here. Okay. So we're here today with Sebastian, who's going to tell us. Sebastian took, I think you just took one series, or did you take more than one series of 8 classes with me?
An 8-pack.
An 8-pack, yeah. And did that to improve his eyesight. Sebastian, tell everybody a little bit about what your history was using glasses, or what made you contact me in the first place.
Sure. So typical story, I think from a very early age, I want to say about 5th grade, perhaps. Optometrist comes in school, measures everyone's vision. I was given glasses from a very early age, subsequently contacts, the whole 9 yards, all the way through college. And when I was about 24, I'm 33 now for context, I went ahead and had PRK, which is photorefractive keratectomy. It's an adjacent to LASIK. And everything was going fine. I felt like I had good vision, but immediately when I had the surgery, I noticed that I had a perception issue. There was something going on. Everything was clear, but how I felt using my eyes was a little bit different. I thought it might go away over some time, and I'll get to that in one moment. So I ended up going to graduate school in Portland, Oregon, and vision would be fine Monday through Wednesday. And then right around Thursday, after about 30 hours worth of schoolwork that week, I would notice that the board that I'd been reading would get blurry. And I would get frustrated because it would be blurry on Thursday and it would be blurry on Friday. But then I would go camping or skiing or do something outside over the weekend, would come back on Monday, the board would be clear again. And as the week progressed, it kept getting a little bit more blurry. And that's when I started to question the whole, why did I get the surgery if my vision is going to fail me again? But in the back of my mind, I knew that there was some type of behavioral process that was kind of underpinning why my vision was deteriorating. So I did a little research, I found out about the Bates method, found Carlos and your website, and I wanted to give it a shot because I'm a physical therapist and I do believe a lot in behavior change, and how we manage our bodies and our vision and our behaviors really is kind of what impacts the response that we get. So I found you, and I was extremely happy that I was able to, because I was able to benefit from what you taught me.
You used to have earlier, we were talking too about how before we started recording here, that you had pain too, and I remember your eye would turn a little bit.
Yeah, and that was one thing that I noticed too. Exactly. So when I would have, or when I would notice rather, that my vision was getting worse, I was feeling a lot of eye strain, and particularly behind my right eye, and that would be doing this whole triangle thing, my dominant eye. And so I figured that, I would have this strain, and then I would have a little bit of a fatigue. I almost wouldn't necessarily call it like amblyopia, but it was just a little bit of like, I would tell my eye was more closed from photos. I was turning my head to look at a camera during, to be facing with my right eye, and it would almost look like it was under some type of torsion. But it was manifesting as pain. I mean, it would become uncomfortable, not ever to the point where I thought, oh my gosh, I should go to the doctor, but I would notice, days at a time, man, I had this tension headache just right behind my right eyeball.
Yeah.
And that was one of the major reasons also that I found you. And because the vision loss, I shouldn't say loss, but the deterioration of my acuity, plus the almost unavoidable tension that would come with working and focus, was something that I wanted to contend with, because having another surgery was not going to be something that I was going to participate in. Sure. or consent to.
I've had people who have had LASIK tell me that after they have problems after the surgery, that they go back to their eye surgeon, and he says, oh, we just do a touch-up surgery.
Yeah.
And people will tell you, well, if the first one didn't help, why, and I mean, if the first one helped, but then the vision starts dropping again. So you're not, with the surgery, you're not addressing the underlying issues. But then with the Bates techniques, you do. And we were talking about that earlier before we got the recording going here, about what the underlying issues are. We finished your 8-pack sometime in late 2021. We're in December 2022 now.
It's been about a year, I would say.
Been about a year. How's your vision been since the 8-pack?
Great. It's been great. Just first thing I think that was most important to note is that this headache that I had behind my eye, I'd say that the last time I actually thought about it was probably February of this year. So after I'd been able to practice the techniques that we had worked on and just implement them in my daily life, didn't even think about it anymore. As far as my acuity of my vision has gotten, it's continually becoming better and better the more I am able to make what you've taught me behaviors rather than things that I think that I need to practice. It's just how I use my eyes.
throughout
And
the
for
day.
example, yeah,
Yeah.
throughout the day. And for example, we've been talking about this. I went to the optometrist just to get, like, have an eye health exam, and everything was perfect. And she was giving me an acuity test. And after 2015, she just stopped testing me. She just like, okay, you're good to go. Your eyes look healthy. Everything looks really good. And I was pleasantly surprised about that because I was able to stay relaxed in an environment where, you may get white coat syndrome. But yes, vision is great. Distance vision, close vision. One thing we worked on together a lot was I would have starbursting a little bit at nighttime.
Hmm.
And that has largely also reduced. I don't know that I honestly, I don't know what it would be like I don't know if some element of starburst is normal, but I have no starbursting anymore at all, like while driving in the evening,
Yeah.
early in the morning.
Let me explain to people who are watching. Starbursting is where you're seeing lights and that they're stretching out. Yeah, you get like the little
Almost like you can
filaments.
see here on the Christmas tree behind me, where you feel like the light bulbs are bursting out, but it would be more extreme where they would be not just this little aura that you'd get from just the air around the bulb, but it's very pulled apart. I
Yeah.
mean, you could see, if you're imagining driving through your car and you come to a red light, it's not just the light that you see, but it would be streaked across the
Yeah.
windshield or across my visual field. And I don't experience that hardly ever anymore.
Yeah.
I would say the most powerful thing that you've helped me with thinking about this is that when I feel that my eyes are getting blurred, I'm starting to recognize that I'm having some type of holding or tension, whether it's something that I'm self-generating or something that I'm taking on from somebody else or some other situation.
Oh, good point.
And rather than it being something that scared me, as it did in the beginning, I told you I'm losing my eyes, and you're like, no, you're not. You're just you need to learn how to relax. And I take that to heart because now I realize, like, oh, I'm manifesting stress or tension. Take a moment, apply an activity, and then boom, I can clear it up almost right away.
So that your vision clears up whenever you notice that your vision's off a little bit.
Absolutely. As we were talking about it earlier. So I mentioned I'm a therapist. So sitting in my clinic room, I usually will have a patient off to kind of maybe 30 degrees off to my left. And then about 30 degrees off to my right is a window. And I sit on a spinning chair, like a therapy stool that you might have seen before. And I'll be talking to them. And if I notice for whatever reason that my vision's getting blurry, I will just turn and look out the window. And I have one of your eye charts in between these two windows here. And I'll look at the eye chart and I'll kind of bounce the letters around and I'll notice the motion and I'll watch cars go by. And then I have one business across the street that I will shake until I can read their tiny little logo clearly. And that's kind of like how I can tell that I'm relaxing, is that I'll notice, oh, it's a little Nampa floors. That's what it's called. It's blurry right now. Let me shake the dome of the sky, or let me, move the N, or shift to another letter in the title of the name, and bam, it'll just wash away. And then I feel better as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So that you're
It's a
relieving the
responsibility.
internal, that internal stress.
Mhm.
You're letting it out. Very good. Very good.